lies and deception and manipulation as a method. UPC was good at that. But General Museveni has excelled.
UPC was good at lies, deception, and manipulation. But Museveni has excelled. That's why he hates those people. Because he doesn't have an original idea. His original ideas were really good. The ideas, the 10-point program, why they launched a war against Milton Obote and Tito Okello respectively, those were good ideas. But then he veered off. He took a detour to being this monster. And he hates Obote and Idi Amin Dada because he's just worse than them.
That's why there was a cost in 71 in terms of a coup. That's why there was a cost in the war, 79. There were costs in the war, 81, 86. And now we are going through another cost.
Oh. If there was a cost in 1971, which was a toppling over Obote, then there was a cost in 1979, which was toppling of Idi Amin Dada. Then a cost in the 80s and 86. Is he trying to suggest that we might be seeing a war or a coup?
To hang on to power and democratically, there are a number of things you must do. You have to ensure that people fear. And therefore, you must use tools to cause fear. Because when people are fearful, they will not question. They will not challenge.
Yep.
Use of money to compromise people. Using methods to destabilize any form of organization that could become a center for resistance.
You're watching Mordecai Marissa Live Political Commentary. Please consider subscribing to help grow Uganda's Voices of Struggle ecosystem. Thank you.
I cannot appreciate you enough for using your valuable time to always go on social media, break down things for people.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I promised I would be back here to give a second episode on this wonderful podcast where Gregory Mugisha Muntu pretty much diagonizes the problem we have in Uganda, trashes the stupid idea of Muhoozi Kainerugaba, and sort of restores hope in some Ugandans who are losing it. In this clip I'm going to be playing you here, he pretty much points out a position I've always held. Look, there was a time when Museveni was referred to as one of the new breed of African ruler. You know, I think it was Bill Clinton. I was reading here an article I think I should show you here. I was him alongside other leaders. I have to show you here. Let's do this. Probably I have to expand here so that you're able to read it yourself, you know. Yeah. Bill Clinton's new generation of African leaders, mostly still around in 2016. And if you read here, it says, in March 1998, President Bill Clinton went to Africa, where he waxed lyrical about a new generation of African leaders supposedly committed to free markets and democracy. The relevant leaders included Yoweri Museveni of Uganda, Paul Kagame of Rwanda, Meles Zenawi of Ethiopia, and Asias Afwerki of Eritrea. So Museveni was one of them who was touted us, look at this liberal Democrat, look at this man who cares about free markets. He was a liar. He never cared a thing about a thing. And I've always argued that I wasn't here during the 70s or the 80s. I was born in the 90s. But reading history, Museveni gives me this conclusion that is a combination of Idi Amin Dada and Milton Obote combined. Now, there's been several times where I think you heard Media Matembe said, Idi Amin Dada is back. He was referring to Muhoozi Kainerugaba, but you have to understand that Muhoozi Kainerugaba commits all these atrocities sanctioned and endorsed by his dad, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And he's going to be speaking to the nation today where he's going to be telling a bunch of lies. I don't care. But you know that when Media Matembe, who was here in the 70s, says, hey, Idi Amin Dada has returned, they're pretty much referring to you that, hey, Museveni is Idi Amin Dada. Now, listen to what Mugisha Muntu says when it comes to Museveni using lies, deception, and manipulation as tactics. Listen here.
In politics, lies and deception and manipulation as a method. UPC was good at that. But General Museveni has excelled.
UPC was good at lies, deception, and manipulation. But Museveni has excelled. That's why he hates those people. Because he doesn't have an original idea. His original ideas were really good. The ideas, the 10-point program, why they launched a war against Milton Obote and Tito Okello respectively, those were good ideas. But then he veered off. He took a detour to being this monster. And he hates Obote and Idi Amin Dada because he's just worse than them. So that's why he always shits on their names.
In it. But it never leads to any good.
Exactly.
It can enable you to manipulate others, also manipulate society, but it always comes with a cost. That's why there was a cost in 71 in terms of a coup. That's why there was a cost in the war, 79. There were costs in the war, 81, 86. And now we are going through another cost.
Oh. If there was a cost in 1971, which was a toppling over Obote, then there was a cost in 1979, which was toppling of Idi Amin Dada. Then a cost in the 80s, then 86. Is he trying to suggest that we might be seeing a war or a coup? That's pretty much, because look at the pattern. What does he mean when he refers to those times in history as costs? Listen again.
Also manipulate society, but it always comes with a cost. That's why there was a cost in 71 in terms
71?
of a coup. That's why there was a cost in the
That took Obote.
war, 79.
That took Idi Amin Dada.
There were costs in the war, 81, 86.
81, that was toppling Idi Amin Dada, of course. Obote rigging an election in the 80s, and then Museveni launching a war against Obote.
And now we are going through
86 was them toppling Tito Okello, and now he wants.
another cost.
We are going through another cost. This tells me there's going to be a coup in Uganda or a war, one of the two, because we pretty much come to a conclusion that an election alone cannot remove Museveni and his enablers. So this experienced man who participated in one of those costs is telling you we are going through another cost. And don't take my word for it. I mean, draw the patterns, relate them. 71, 79, 81, 86, and we are headed for one. There's an imminent one coming. What is it saying? But here, I want to tell you, I believe Museveni is a sadist. And again, I usually refer you to people who know him. There's a video that's been trending on social media where Winnie Byanyima says, let me tell you a story. There was a time when Museveni's mom was beaten up by thieves or people, and she was left to die on the roadside. The family of Winnie Byanyima knew the family of Museveni, so they come and tell Winnie Byanyima's family, hey, there's a woman so-and-so, she's been assaulted by people we do not know, she needs help. They carry this woman, take her, they took care of her for more than a year. Museveni never said a thank you, not even come to visit his mom. Not my words. You can go on and type in Boniface Byanyima, Yoweri Museveni, NTV. You're going to see a clip where Boniface Byanyima, who took care of Museveni when Museveni was going to Mbarara High School, said he was a loner. He was Tibuhaburwa. He even said, if you hear him speak about the accomplishments in Uganda, he never says we. He says I. Is a sadist, a self-serving narcissistic sociopath, and a psychopath. A consummate liar. And a Machiavellian, an embodiment of Machiavellian politics. Because there's no way you tell me that a man who was convicted in these ideas of free markets, democracy, rule of law, constitutionalism, respect to human rights, all of that, he abandoned them as we speak right now. People abducted, tortured, that disappeared and murdered. No, it doesn't compute. It cannot just happen out of the blue. This man knew for sure what he wanted to do, but he wanted to feed his ego. Oh, I am president, see me. But he didn't know how to do it. So he had to sugarcoat his grotesque, malevolent ideas with ideas of democracy, liberalism, and rule of law and stuff like that to seduce, attract people to join him, convincing them that he was convicted in those, his causes were deeply rooted in those ideas, only for him to take off the mask or to rub off the sugar coating after when he ascended to power. Because take a look, this is Nicole Machiavelli writing to Lorenzo de Medici. This is the prince referring to a president. I believe in this chapter, Nicole Machiavelli tells the prince is someone who ascends to power, like president or king, but he's referring to a bad leader. He says, it is not essential then that a prince should have all the good qualities which I have enumerated above, but it is most essential that he should seem to have them. Don't have the good qualities, no, but seem to have them. I will even venture to affirm that if he has and invariably practices them all, they are hurtful. Exactly. Because you're running against your ego. You're running against your discomfort. If you're going to do a good thing, it's going to bring discomfort. So it might hurt, but that's good. For example, if you're working on losing weight, you know the work you have to put in. You have to go to the gym. You have to run. You have to cut some of the fats and cholesterol and all these things you're eating. It is hurtful, but it is helpful. So, but according to Machiavellian thinking, no, that's not good. Why do you hurt yourself? So he continues, I will even venture to affirm that if he has and invariably practices them all, they are hurtful, whereas the appearance of having them is useful. The appearance of having these democratic values is useful. You can pretend, oh, I'm a Democrat. This is what he did. Because they were useful to seduce the likes of Mugisha Muntu, the Chiza Besije, the Matthew Chikire, the Kahindo Tafire, the Mama Mbabazi, the Sam Kutesa, to join him, to use them. They were useful. Thus, it is well to seem merciful, faithful, humane, religious, upright, and also to be so. But the mind should remain so balanced that where it needful to be, not to be so, you should be able and know how to change to the contrary. So it says the beauty is pretend like you're merciful. Remember when Museveni pretended with Janet? We want to say sorry. People of Buganda, we are sorry for the mistakes we did. They didn't mean a thing. What happened in the Kawempe by-election, beating up people, torturing them, breaking legs and stuff like that. He never meant a thing. But pretend like you're merciful. Pretend like you're humane. You know, he was writing recently, responding to Andrew Mwenda, I still have a Bible and a gun. Two don't make a sense at all. The two are diametrically opposed. A gun doesn't work in the presence of the Bible. Jesus didn't have a gun. He didn't even have a sword, a small knife like this. But he wants to pretend. Okay? He wants to have a semblance of a religion, but at the same time show that he's a tough guy. That's what Museveni is saying. Muntu is saying. He's taken lies, deception, and manipulation to levels never seen before. Okay, let's go here where he talks about a change will eventually come.
Because people have almost believed that deception is okay, manipulation is okay, lies are okay in politics. That's the nature.
Sad.
But, you know, those of us who believe in the Bible says that whatever man sows, so shall he reap.
Yep, Museveni is going to reap what he's been sowing for the last 40 years. Okay, let's go here. I think this is why he saved, where he talks about change will come eventually. I think I played that already.
Anybody who was in a understanding can see visibly that there will be change.
Yep.
Clearly, change will happen. I only think that what is not known is the how and the when, but it will happen. It will happen. They are all signals to that effect. And to me, by the way, that has never been my biggest issue, because I always known that change is a constant. To me, the main issue would be when change happens, which it will, then what? Would it happen when it would be organized enough to break out of the vicious cycle and therefore take a new route? Or is there a likelihood that there can be change and we still remain in the vicious cycle? To me, that has always been my concern.
Okay. Let's go. Okay, but before I actually take you there, let me take you to, again, the comment from Bobby Wine where he talks about this. This is how he phrases it.
You know, other than that, we can just have a vicious circle. I mean, all these prized revolutionaries, many of them turned into despicable and despisable autocrats. I was born in the times of...
I want to argue Museveni never turned out to be a despicable, disgusting autocrat. He was always one. He was just hiding what he is. Power exposed him.
The struggle for freedom in Zimbabwe. I was named after Robert Mugabe, a prized revolutionary.
Oh, yeah.
You know, see what he turned into. So, our effort to empower the people seeks to heal, among others, the Museveni kind of behavior.
Let me ask you the Musevenism, which is presents himself as the best, indispensable. You know, there was an interview I played you a few days ago where he was being interviewed by, Sky News, and then says, if you have me, I am not senile, I am still here, why don't you use me? Dude, you're struggling with talking, but you can't recognize that. You're struggling with an interview where you're seated comfortable in a chair. If I am not senile, and you have me. Irony is dead. Irony is dead. You know, the problem of Africa are leaders who overstay in power. He said that in 1986 during his inauguration, I think. What happened? You still need me. Nobody needs you. Okay, let's go here where he talks about the incarceration of Lukwago, Dr. Chiza Besigye, Alex Waiswa Mufumbiro, and others, and what message he sends to them.
For not having pride. Basically, that's what we have to keep doing.
Yeah, maybe the last thing, for example, the opposition political parties, NUP, over the last 7-6 years, a lot of the supporters are abducted and tortured. What happened on 15th Jan this year alone? So we have the president, not in the party president, not in the country. PFF, the both Dr. Kiza Besigye and the current chair, Elias Lukwago, also we know what is happening. What can we do as the opposition? What's especially for the supporters, for the remaining political party leaders who are not yet maybe in jail or basement or out? What can they do?
What is happening is almost like something being done out of a rule book which has been used by many autocrats. Principles are the same. To hang on to power and democratically, there are a number of things you must do. You have to ensure that people fear. And therefore you must use tools to cause fear. Because when people are fearful, they will not question. They will not challenge. Use of money to compromise people. Using methods to destabilize any form of organization that could become a center for resistance. Destabilize anything that could become a center of resistance or opposition. Whether it's political parties, whether it is cultural institutions, whether it is religious organizations, whether it is whatever it is, ensure that they remain in a state of instability. This is what is happening. It's happened in the past here in Uganda. It has happened in many African countries and even Asian and Latin American countries. But see, it always has an end. That's where it's a problem of understanding why people still do that. Because it always has an end.
I don't understand for sure. I'll never understand. Like, it always leads in the same direction. I don't understand. Except to be like, okay, there's an element of delusion in evil where you convince yourself, oh, this will never happen to me. since time immemorial, autocrats who employ violent tactics against innocent civilians, they take the same route. From the likes of Napoleon Bonaparte, Genghis Khan, the Pol Pot, the Francisco Franco, the Adolf Hitler, the Benito Mussolini, the Idi Amin Dada, the Mobutu Sese Seko Kuku Mendu Zabanga, the likes of Yahya Jammeh, name them, the Muammar Gaddafi, the Robert Mugabe. Why are we not learning what's going on? That's why I want to stay away from politics as much as I can, because I don't know. If I were in a government that is being led by an autocrat, I think I would resign on day one, because I know for sure my name is going to go down in history as the worst, as one who enabled the lawlessness and impunity against innocent people. Jeez.
It's not sustainable.
No.
It reaches a point when change happens. Mm-hmm. And therefore, when you are opposing something and you want to move it, you have to ensure that you don't do what they desire you to do. Uh-huh. For example, to be fearful, you must keep on doing things which maintain hope in people. You must keep doing things that defeat their measures to manipulate, to divide. Mm-hmm. You must do things to have a significant number of leaders and actors who cannot be bought or compromised by money and all nature of things. When you do that, then you are succeeding.
Exactly.
Every time they try to divide, and instead of division, there is unity, they have failed. When they do things to create fear, and people refuse to be fearful, and they keep speaking, and they keep coordinating, and they keep on influencing, they would have failed. And the side of change would have succeeded. So it's a process. It's a painstaking process, but with effort and skills, it works. Otherwise, there will never be change anywhere on this planet.
Exactly.
I mean, we have seen countries which were more tightly held, but change always comes.
Eventually, at the end of it all, ladies and gentlemen, do not lose hope. At the end, darkness is defeated by light. That's why Martin Luther King reminds us that the arc of moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Change takes a long time, but it eventually happens. Do not lose hope. Continue building, continue mobilizing, continue strategizing, continue agitating. One day, it's going to happen. It took more than 300 years for our ancestors to fight and defeat slavery, Jim Crow, or discrimination and segregation. It took so many years to fight the apartheid regime in South Africa. Go read about the Indian movement of independence. How many years? More than 90? But it eventually comes to an end. So do not lose hope. Let me know what you think. Am I missing out a point on what he said? I enjoy it when you guys are writing in the comment section. Be like, hey, Mordecai, you missed out on this. You didn't pay attention to this. I like it. So, and if you really enjoyed what he said, please go on and write in the comment section. I have immense respect for Gregory Mugisha Muntu, Oyeda, and so many other opposition folks. Look, I'm behind Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I should hate on other people. Then I would be enemy of myself. Because what I have to do in this situation is try to find ways of how I can unite with other opposition figures or voices that might have different strategies, but all our mission is to defeat this lawlessness and impunity, this autocracy that is presided over by Museveni and Muhoozi Kainerugaba by extension. So, I'll be back here. Stick around. My name is Mordecai Morisa. I love you all. Bye.
Did you enjoy what you just watched?
I'm sure they did.
I'm going to guess that you did. How about you consider subscribing to Mordecai Marissa Live YouTube channel? Thank you.